explain about mechanics of respiration, in which you will get an idea about muscles and movements of thorax. So let us start with the first one, that is the respiratory muscles. So as we all know that in the thoracic cavity we have observed inspiration and expiration. Inspiration means the air is going inside the thoracic cavity expands, and during expiration the air comes out of the thoracic cavity and the thoracic cavity attains the pre-inspiratory position. Now the change in the position is directly related with the muscular activities. So now let us focus on the muscles which are responsible for the inspiration as well as the expiration. So in the muscles of respiration there are main two categories. First is inspiratory muscles and second one, that is expiratory muscles. So first we will focus on the inspiratory muscles. So as you can see in this flow chart, that respiratory muscles, they are basically divided into two. And first one on which we are going to focus on, that is the muscles of inspiration. So inspiratory muscles, they are again divided into the two subtypes, that is primary inspiratory and accessory inspiratory. So primary inspiratory muscles, right, we are talking right now over here, that primary inspiratory muscles. So this includes the diaphragm, which is supplied by the phrenic nerve, and the external intercostal muscles, which is supplied by the intercostal nerves. So these two are the primary inspiratory muscles. Next thing is next subcategory, accessory inspiratory muscles. So accessory inspiratory muscles, so this includes, first is the sternocleidomastoid muscles as over the anterolateral aspect of the neck, that is the sternocleidomastoid muscles, scalene muscles, so the lateral cervical muscles, serratus anterior, upper trapezius and the pectoral muscles. So serratus anterior, which is a deep muscle, upper trapezius, which are the elevators of the scapula, and the pectoral muscles. So these are the accessory inspiratory muscles. Now the next category of respiratory muscle, that is expiratory muscles. Again, same as inspiratory, we have two subcategories. So in which the first one, that is primary expiratory muscles, right, we are talking over here, primary expiratory muscles, and the accessory expiratory muscles. So the primary expiratory, it includes the internal intercostal muscles. Internal intercostal muscles lies deep to the external intercostal muscles, and the next one, that is accessory expiratory, so which includes the abdominal muscles. So in that, the rectus abdominis. So as you can observe, the muscles, they are more focusing on inspiration, so they lie upwards, and the muscles focusing on expiration, so they are like abdominals. The lower muscle means the muscles which lies not directly but inferior to the thoracic cavity, they help in expiration process, and the upper trapezius, serratus anterior, pectoral muscles, they are like accessory inspiratory muscles. So now we will focus on movements of the thoracic cavity and how does that movement is produced, or the muscles responsible behind those movements. So now let's focus on the respiratory movements. So to understand the respiratory movement very easily, we focus on the four different units in the thoracic cavity, and we will focus on how these units are formed and what are the muscles inside a particular unit and what are the changes they bring to the thoracic cavity during inspiration and during expiration. So now let us focus on the first unit of thoracic cavity, that is thoracic lid. So this is the first unit. So our first unit is thoracic lid. Now this thoracic lid, it is formed by the manubrium and the first pair of rib, so which is the uppermost unit in the thoracic cavity, and the muscles responsible are the scalene muscles. It is scalene group of muscle on both the side, those are the lateral cervical muscles. So both the side, whenever there is contraction of these scalene muscle, they pull the rib upwards, and whenever they are pulling ribs upward, it increases the anterior posterior diameter of the thoracic cavity as well. So whenever a muscle is acting on the thoracic cavity, it brings change in the diameter of the thoracic cavity. Next unit is the upper costal series. Now upper costal series, which is formed by second to sixth pair of ribs, and the mainly muscle responsible are the external intercostal muscle, and it increases both, that is the transverse diameter as well as the anterior posterior diameter of the thoracic cavity. Now one thing that I would like to mention over here, that we all have studied the pump handle and the bucket handle movement, right? So whenever we are talking about the upper costal series, both the movement occur in the upper costal series, that is the pump handle as well as the bucket handle movement. So in the pump handle movement, there is increase in the anterior posterior diameter. So in the pump handle, there is increase in the anterior posterior diameter, and whenever there is bucket handle movement, so it increases the transverse, or I can say the side to side diameter of the thoracic cavity. But the next thing is the lower costal series. Lower costal series formed by 7th to 10th pair of ribs. Muscles responsible are the same, that is external intercostal muscle, but only the bucket handle movement occurs, so which only increases the transverse diameter of the thoracic cavity. And the last one and the most important unit, that is the diaphragm. So the major inspiratory muscle and the only muscle which is responsible for increasing the vertical diameter of the thoracic cavity. So diaphragm itself, it is a muscle, and it increases the vertical diameter of the thoracic cavity. So diaphragm is the only muscle which is responsible for increasing vertical diameter of the thoracic cavity. So now in this chart you can focus on some of the muscles, right? That scalene muscles, which were accessory inspiratory muscles, external intercostal for the upper and lower costal series, which were the primary inspiratory muscles, and the diaphragm is also the primary inspiratory muscles. So I think now you have got the idea about the mechanics of respiration. So this is just the first part of the mechanics of respiration. Soon I am going to explain about other points also. So see you later in my next video. Till then, keep learning, keep exploring. Do share these videos, and if you are having any doubts, do mention in the comment section. Thank you so much.